samoro sami chuo kuogo pa okikete tiyudo ki iyudo ka kata mana skalo bai gari dhi Kisii kaka kuoyo orugi kuoyo.
As we talk today in Shoe, there is unregulated sand harvesting.
People have harvested sand up to the water table and it is just next to the lake.
And this has seen the level of the lake rising.
Anytime mvua ikinyesha lazima wahame kwa sababu mafuriko inakuja.
Sustainable sand mining is a good economic activity and a source of income that can be achieved through public sensitization on proper and effective way of mining sand. This is Kobala, a small village in Wangching Ward, Karachwanyo constituency, where large chunks of earth have been removed through manual excavation in search of sand, putting the entire village to an increased risk and environmental nuisance. Hilary Ouma is a resident of Kobala. He accuses the local government of colluding with the sand harvesters who have dug and encroached into the roads in search of sand.
Enoracha ahinya ke jowa go kuoyo nyaka ndara nikech wawinjo ka jokuoyo go be wacho ni nitie joma gimiyo pesa ma gimiyo pesa jo sirikal go nikech moko go nyaka ndara to waja apiko wasang'anye yo ka ma jomoko nokawo kodwa rach mondo ndara obed maber.
On the other hand, Joy Lokuta laments that the extreme sand mining has no benefits to the locals and the miners as well, stating that the coming generations of Kobala village will have no place to live.
Ne jowa duto ma kunyo kuoyo wasaneno tabu ni kaluwore kod kaka wan jonyuol kech wan gi nyithindo. Iyudo ni kuoyo kunyo makata jowa ma nyithindo mabuo ibe nyuol sani kama gibuo gede onge. Kech nambe wan godo machiegni ka ma pi pong ka pi odonjo to wan gi tabu kabisa kech lope ma wantie godo e Kobala ka be gin lope matin.
Sand mining has extremely been a problem to the entire area. As in mara mingi mvua ikinyesha around the place, actually as you can see hatuna hata mahali pa kufanya farming because most of the times mvua ikikuja watu wanahamia manyumba wanaenda hata kwa center.
And right now as we're speaking, there are community members who have been displaced in that area, permanently displaced. Also think about people who have been forced to migrate and heritage that has been lost. Think about the farmlands, more than 100 hectares of land within that area that is totally submerged with the lake, and that used to be the food basket of the community. So it means that even issues of food security within such kind of communities has been totally affected.
Other challenges the villagers of Kobala face is difficulty in transportation, particularly school children during rainy seasons, alongside massive school dropouts among young children who are resorting to extreme sand mining to get income.
We are talking about high rates of prevalences and even concentration and performance within the schools has really been affected. Not also thinking about the security within this kind of areas. So this is a key issue. It is not only affecting one dimension of the society, but here we are talking about different spheres of the societies that is really being faced with impacts of climate change.
It has lowered the level of education of Awambi because most of the young people involved in sand harvesting actually have even stopped going to school.
Even though there are stipulated laws governing mining of sand and other precious gems, many miners in Kobala do the activities without considering the environmental effects and security threats it poses to the entire village.
There is not a beach, and then there is also Kobuya. There is also sand harvesting in Bita, where they do it from the lake. And according to the Environmental Management and Coordination Act, actually it requires that any person doing sand harvesting must submit to us an environmental impact assessment report and get license before starting the sand harvesting. As we talk today in Shoe, there is unregulated sand harvesting. We've done about 69 arrests of the people, and still the problem is going on. It's important to mention that there is an issue between the county government and national government, where while NEMA demand for environmental sanctity through the regulated sand harvesting, the county government looks at sand harvesting as a cash cow, because any vehicle that passes through the county collects sales for the county government. So it really becomes a problem, and it requires an interagency approach. It's also important to mention that the county government should domesticate national laws which are touching on sand harvesting. Like in Homa Bay, we have a sand harvesting bill which has been at a draft level since 2015 to date. I'm certain that if it is implemented maybe in the current system, we'll be able to regulate sand harvesting in the whole county.
According to the county's director of NEMA, Mr. Nyandoro Josiah, the unregulated sand harvesting in the county has led to the death of 10 people since the year 2019 within the sand harvesting sites.
Sand harvesting in Homa Bay, as we talk since 2019, has led to death of about 10 people within the sand harvesting sites.
Mr. Josiah accuses the county government of Homa Bay of using the sand harvesting as a cash cow at the expense of the well-being of the people and that of the environment. He further states that their effort to curb the unregulated sand mining is thwarted by politicians within the area who encourage sand harvesting in bid to please the electorates during campaign periods.
We have politicians involved in sand harvesting, because most of the lorries that are carrying sand, and even most of the guys who are involved in sand harvesting, actually has something to touch on politics. It's also important that the young people who are involved in sand harvesting are voters. So while we as national government, and NEMA particularly, are talking about environmental sanctity through regulated sand harvesting, politicians look at how they can please their electorate by encouraging sand harvesting among the young people who are voters. It's also good to mention that actually these young voters have really had a problem in terms of security of the area. Some have even stopped going to school because there is quick money and therefore they don't go to. So the politics and finances, or politics and economics, is really connected, and it's also an issue that touching on sand harvesting. Challenges that we encounter in enforcing sand harvesting is that there are occasions that we have to arrest people, and we have a problem from the political wing, where you arrest somebody today, and then after arresting them, you ban a site as a sand harvesting site, but a politician actually comes and opens up the sand harvesting site. So we really have a problem between national and county government, but maybe when we have the regulation on sand harvesting being passed in the county assembly, we'll be able to sort this issue of sand harvesting once for all.
Stacey Virginia Otieno says the extreme sand mining along the lake has led to the lake rising and threats of the lake reclaiming its banks and sweeping away the residents. She says the county government of Homa Bay is planning to come up with a climate change policy, waste management policy, and sand harvesting policy to control the sand minings for the sake of future generations.
We have also realized massive sand harvesting, especially along our beaches, within the riparian of the lake, encroachment of those beaches, and this has seen the level of the lake rising. And there are even threats of the lake reclaiming its banks and sweeping away the people that are living within the riparian zone of the lake. Massive sand harvesting have also left parcels of land derelict, huge gullies filled with water, and our children are at risk of drowning. And where there are electrical poles, we risk getting electrocuted by these hanging electrical poles. Our roads have also been cut in most of the part of Homa Bay County, especially Karachuonyo area, and our beaches. And our hospitals around this area cannot access electricity to offer services to the people of Homa Bay. It is our plea as the county government of Homa Bay, one of the steps that we have made to reverse this is we are working on a climate change policy that is being tabled. The bill is being tabled at the county assembly. We are also working on a waste management policy. We are also working on an energy policy and a sand harvesting policy that will see that the harvesting or exploitation of sand is controlled for the benefit of the present generation and the future generation. Sand harvesting, majorly our people have looked at it as a source of income, but I would say it is not a valuable source of income. Why? Because our lands are left derelict and invaluable. We have placed ourselves vulnerable to being swept by the lake when it reclaims its banks as a result.
Reporting for Lolwe TV, my name is Sophie.